Now in session, the Honorable Judge Stevens presiding.
Good morning, please be seated.
Joshua Perry, Alan Perry, and Brian Perry.
Okay, we're here for a probable cause hearing. Are there any preliminary matters before we begin?
It's the state's intention, as far as this probable cause hearing is concerned, to deal with 4 complaints. Brian Perry, a single felony count of riot. Joshua Perry, there's a felony count of resisting arrest and also a felony count of riot. And as regards to E. Alan Perry, also a felony count of riot. You're on a state call Lieutenant Michael Kelly.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please have a seat. State your name and spell your last name for the record.
Michael Kelly, Kelly.
Lieutenant Kelly, how long have you been employed as a full-time police officer in the state of New Hampshire?
I'm in my 19th year.
And how long have you been employed with the Salem Police Department?
I'm in my 12th year.
What is your present rank?
Lieutenant.
And on the afternoon of June 16th of 2014, in the time period of about 1:30, 2 o'clock that afternoon, where were you and what kind of shift or assignment did you have?
I was working a paid detail at Canopy Lake Park for security.
As a result of your working that day, did you come to be familiar with the Perry family?
Yes, I did.
And did you come into contact with the Joshua Perry?
Yes.
For the sake of the court's record, do you see a Joshua Perry present in the courtroom today?
Yes, he's the defendant to the left in the orange jumpsuit.
And the person you're referring to, is that next to Attorney Sam Terrell at this side table?
That's correct.
Did you come into contact that day with an E. Alan Perry?
Yes, I did.
And lastly, did you come into contact that day with a Brian Perry? Does this video in any way provide you any basis of knowing or understanding what happened with Officer Macias?
Yes. That's E. Alan Perry.
The biggest guy with the sunglasses on.
Yeah, with the beard.
So right here, what's happened?
We go to place him under arrest. He needed to set the floor away from us.
You end up moving to your left here. Why was that?
Well, he was pulling away from us, so he was pulling us in that direction, but also we were trying to limit his movements.
The person on the right, what does he do here?
That
E.
is
Alan Perry.
E. Alan Perry. He's at that point he's interfering with Officer Macias.
This is essentially where you and Officer Macias separate, is that correct?
That's correct.
What do you do at this point going forward?
At this point, I'm still trying to control Joshua. He's still actively resisting, pulling his arms away from me, trying to get away from me.
And are you trying to lean him up against some type of wall or something there?
Yes, that's guest services wall. Actually, you can see the sign for guest services above.
Are you doing or saying anything to him?
Tell him to stop resisting.
And does he submit to what you're asking or telling him to do?
No, he does not.
How do you end up getting him into custody?
I eventually have to, I'm trying to control his movements as the video rolls on. You'll see that Officer Macias is actively engaged with E.A. Perry. I'm just trying to get control of Joshua. At that point, I determined that I have to take him to the ground to control his movements because he's trying to get away from me.
So how did you get him to the ground?
I did like a hip toss or grabbed him by I think I grabbed him by the head or grabbed him by the shoulders and flipped him with my hip.
So when you flipped him, did you go down also?
I did.
So what happens here? Is he resisting there?
Yes, pulling away.
He's pulling away there.
Yes, he is.
Okay. And then where does he go?
He continues to pull away from us.
He goes into a wall, right?
Yeah, we're trying to control his movements.
Okay. Now here, both of you, this is you on the left here?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. And this is Melissa's. And this is Josh.
Yep.
This is Gordon.
Yep.
And this is E. Alan Perry, right?
Yep.
Is he threatening in any way at this point?
Yeah, he's interfering with the arrest.
Okay, I guess that's what I want to ask you about. How is he interfering? What's he doing?
He's coming up on the back of the officer in a manner that could be, the officer's gun is right next to where his arm is.
Does he reach for the gun ever?
No, not at this point, no. But it was reached for during the altercation.
Injury sustained by Lieutenant Kelly was ancillary to the attempted arrest of Joshua. There's an attempt being made here to try and separate these acts out into separate periods of time. They're not. It's all part of one riotous melee that these guys all engaged in, and they all took part in, acting together as a unit. The injury to Lieutenant Kelly was suffered because that guy won't allow himself to be arrested. Takes 2 police officers to try and force him into custody while he's pulling away, continues to fight with the officer. You can see it on the video. It goes on for a significant period of time to the point that Lieutenant Kelly has to sweep his leg to force him down to the ground to get him into custody. That's when he gets injured. It's not injured because Lieutenant Kelly feels like taking a dive to the ground or because he's riding on the rides and separates his shoulder. He's injured because he's resisting arrest, and he's trying to effect that arrest, and that's how that happens. It is an act all in its totality. You can't parse out his resisting into several different events in time. It all happens together. When we went through this video for all 3 of these defendants, you can see each of them actively engaging the 2 police officers at the same time. It is offensive to make the argument that any of these guys did anything that was in any type of peacekeeping initiative whatsoever. Because if E. Allen Perry wanted to keep the peace, then what he should have done is backed away. And the other son, if he wanted to keep the peace, he should have backed away. Instead, the 2 of them went after uniformed police officers when they had no right to get in their space, to put their hands on them, and there was no defense of others engagement here that was going on. These 2 that jumped in after Joshua was being arrested were attacking 2 cops. That's what happened. They were all acting at the same time.